Hi guys, how are you today? I hope that you're doing well. I wanted to post a video today on makeup brushes. I did have a subscriber make a request about a video for makeup brushes and suggest, I think some lower priced brushes other than the MAC brushes, which I personally have found to be quite costly, and you do question yourself whether it is worth it, whether you are getting that extra benefit for the money that you are spending on them. And the MAC brushes are excellent brushes, but there are other options out there. Obviously, if you're subscribed to pretty much any beauty gurus videos on YouTube, you've heard of Sigma. So I do have quite a few Sigma brushes here that I wanted to show you from my daily routine, and as well as some others. So we'll just get started and I'll show you what I mean. So just in terms of my daily routine, I thought I'd lay it out pretty much in order. First thing, in the shower, new brush that I have become quite besotted with is the Clarisonic Mia brush. This is an indispensable brush that I think at this point I could not do without in terms of cleansing. It's done amazing things for my skin and the feel of my skin, and I plan on posting another video about this separately, just in terms of changing from what I have changed from. I thought that might be something to add to the YouTube community. As far as hair goes, three main brushes that I think you need when you get out of the shower. You want to use a wide toothed comb just to run through your hair. You might have detangler or Moroccan oil or something like that when you get out of the shower, and I'll just use a wide tooth comb while my hair's still wet to comb any knots and detangle. When I'm blow drying, I use this brush. This brush is a ionic static free antimicrobial Cricut brush, I think. No, sorry, Technique is the brand. I'm not sure if that's showing up. Technique. I got this at a hair wholesaler, so I think it's a professional brand, and it comes with a little pick there at the end, I think, for sectioning off hair, and that just slides into the bottom. I love this brush. It is vented, it is metal, and I find that between the Moroccan oil and this round brush, my hair is drier in faster times than ever before. And then lastly, I have posted about this brush, hairbrush, in a favorites video previously. This, in terms of getting body, you can section your hair with this end of this brush, and then all of these bristles, I think these are man-made material of sort of uneven lengths, and they really help to really quickly and really accurately tease and get some body there with that brush. So I really like that. So three hairbrushes, different hairbrushes that I would recommend there. On to makeup. So for foundation, I've got a couple of alternatives for each thing usually, because it depends. So for liquid foundation, I'll sometimes use, I think I've got like I don't think it's the Sonia Kashuk, I think it's the Ultra sponge. I know in Australia you can get like a Priceline, I think, brand of makeup sponge, and I would recommend that. They are actually very nice for putting on foundations. So if I don't use a sponge or my fingers, the brushes that I use for, at least for liquid makeup, I use the Sigma flat top synthetic Kabuki F80. That's one of their Sigmax brushes, the flat top Kabuki. Also, I do sometimes use the e.l.f. powder brush for liquid foundations, and that works quite well. If I'm putting on a mineral foundation, like I'm wearing today actually, the Bare Essentials makeup, Sephora Professional makes a mineral powder brush, number 45, that I would recommend for that. I know that is obviously very difficult to get in Australia, so really any Kabuki. I would also recommend like the Sigma Kabuki brush is a good one for minerals as well. On to concealer, I usually use two brushes, like a 224, to apply. I keep one for my actual concealer, like the cream concealer or the liquid concealer, and then another one for the powder. So I've got a couple ones here. This one is from Coastal Scents. This is their I think it's IB or TB. I think it's their TB 119 Deluxe Crease Brush. That is from Coastal Scents. As I said, it's like the MAC 224 brush, just a dome top fluffy brush. I use that one for my liquid foundation to sort of blend out the liquid or the cream. And then for the powder, which I'll usually set my concealer with either Bare Essentials Well Rested or Benefits Powder Flage, or even, you know, like the Makeup Forever HD powder foundation. I'll usually set under my eyes a little bit separately to the rest of my face, and for that I'll use, this is actually the Sigma SS224, does have a new number, but you know, you can find these in Australia as well, any sort of dome top fluffy brush. I do sometimes use what is actually a concealer brush. I'm not even sure what brand this is, but it looks like a flat foundation paddle brush, just smaller for foundation. Sometimes I will use that just to put cream concealers under my eyes as well. They do have a nice sort of tip on them, so they might be a little bit more accurate. If you do have a spot, you can you know, get a little bit more precision with this brush for concealer. Onto powders, I use sort of one of two different powder brushes, and by the way, if you buy your brushes, I think from Sigma, I think they all come with these covers on them, and I use them. I store most of my brushes, depending on where I store them. Some I store in drawers with my makeup, and for those especially, and for travel, but I always, when not in use or when not drying, I will always store in one of these, just so that my makeup brushes keep their shape. So this is an old MAC brush. This is a MAC 136. I got this in Washington DC in about 2002. I'm not sure, I don't hear anything about the 136, so I'm not sure if it's available still or if it was limited edition or what, but that's the 136. It's just sort of a medium-sized powder brush. I do really like that. And then again, I showed this for the liquid foundation. I've got quite a few of these. The e.l.f. powder brush is another good one for powders to set your foundation. Onto bronzer, depending on whether I'm applying a powder or a cream or liquid bronzer, depends on which brush I use. I really like Sigma's Tapered face brush, the F25, for applying bronzer for contouring. So you know, because it's got that tapered end, it's perfect for just getting that placement just under your cheekbone, and then, you know, you still got that lovely fluffy you know, graduated taper to blend it in as well. So I love that. You can also, you know, get very nice angle and coverage there if you're contouring on your temples and around the top of your forehead. So I really like that brush. Again, that is the Sigma Tapered Face F25. Then if I'm using a gel or liquid bronzer, I really like this Sigmax HD brush, I think is what it's called. It's their angled top Kabuki, their F84, and that is a good one. It's so dense that if you are putting on a cream or a liquid, I'll use that to tap in a bronzer, and then it's also good, you know, you can slightly blend with that as well, but I love that for bronzers. Then for highlighting, I really like this little Sigma tapered highlighter brush. This is their F35. It's just like the tapered one that I use for bronzers, but you can see how the sizes compare there. This is great for highlighters. You know, it doesn't have too much coverage, so you can get it just where you want it. This is generally how I'll use that brush as a highlight, sometimes down your nose, cupid bow, chin. But that is generally where I'll use it, just to get placement under the eye without covering my face completely in highlighter or glittery, whatever I'm using. Two different brushes I like for blush. I really like the Sigma SS168. Again, that's not the new number. There is another new number that applies to Sigma blush brushes, but this is, you know, what you see. A lot of different brands offer that. An angled blush brush, I know, is it the Artiste brand of brushes that they have in Priceline here in Australia? They offer quite a soft, I think, angled blush brush. But Sigma offers, yeah, that SS168. I do keep that one all the time in a cover so it doesn't get misshaped in the drawer. And then I really like this one as well, the Sigma Powder Blush Brush. This is the F10, and I really like the size of this. This is a just a really nice size for getting, you know, sort of accurate placement on your cheekbone. Sometimes you see brushes like, you know, this MAC 136 as a blush brush, but they're often like quite big. If you want your whole cheek covered in blush, it's going to work beautifully, but if you don't, then you might want something a little bit smaller, and I really like that. For, I forgot to say, for cream blushes or liquid blushes or any other kind of sort of liquidy creamy blush, I like the round topped Sigmax brush, and I didn't pull that out to show you, but I really like that. That's very dense, and it's a very nice way to get accurate placement again of the cream blush, so you're not covering your whole face in colour. Onto eyes, I would recommend that anyone gets a spoolie brush. I think you can buy these as like, you know, little disposables. Even at Priceline, you can definitely buy disposables at Sally's in the US, but these are perfect for not only going through your eyebrows. I would recommend that whether you're using a eyebrow marker, an eyebrow crown, an eyebrow powder, that you use this brush to then go through your eyebrow. Not only does it comb through the hair and get them all going in the right direction, but it also sort of just evens out what you've just placed down. It sort of blends, you know, if you had any pencil marks or powder marks, it just blends it all nicely through your eyebrow. And then this is also great for combing through any mascara clumps on each side of your lashes, so you can do the top side of your lashes or the underside of your lashes. Just a really handy tool that I use every single day. Shadow brushes, there are 3 essential shadow brushes if you ask me. The first one here is the Sigma SS239, and you can see it's just sort of a quite a flat dome shaped brush, I think is what you would call it. So the SS239 is the old number from Sigma, but this is what you would use to, you know, pat in any color on the eyelid. It's great for minerals as well, if you were doing a foiling technique or something like that. This is just very versatile, so you can pack on any color here. You can use it for your highlight up top. In the tutorial that I posted recently, that dark smoky eye, you can even use that for, you know, starting to do your crease. It's obviously nice and flat, so you can get that direction if you're trying to get nice contours, and then you turn the brush with the straight edge depending on, you know, where you want the shadow to go. So I would recommend that. You can just dip it, you know, the end into your eyeshadow as well, and use it to line your eyes if you are lining your eyes with shadow, and you can just do the lash line, the top line as well. So I would thoroughly recommend one of those brushes. Second one would be something that's similar to the 217. This is the Blending E25 brush from Sigma. It's their imitation of the 217 brush from MAC. This is beautiful. In a pinch you can use this to pack on colour, but it's, for me, it's what it does blending wise in the crease. It's just a beautiful brush for getting in the crease, blending out colours, getting a nice taper from dark, you know, eliminating any harsh edges in your shadow. And you can't do I can't do eyeshadow without that brush anymore. It's amazing. And then just for more precision, I would recommend something like this pencil brush from Sigma. This is their I guess imitation of Max 219. The number I've got here is SS219. I'm not sure what the new number is on that, but it's a pencil brush. So you obviously get a lot more precision with this brush. Again, really good for getting a detailed outer V. This would also be good for getting inner corner if you're highlighting the inner corner. Also good for placing shadow under the lash line. This is a terrific brush for blending out any pencil liner. If you've got pencil liner on and it's just too harsh, this is a beautiful brush for blending out any harsh lines that you've got from liner. You could also use this brush as a concealer brush for, you know, covering any spots that you may have that you want covered. And then the last brush that I wanted to mention today is the angled liner brush. There are, you know, very fine angled, sort of like that, angled brushes for eyeliner, which I like. There are slightly thicker than that eyeliner brushes, and then there's these sort of angled brushes. This is Sigma's SS266. Again, they have a new numbering system. I'm not sure what that would be called, but I find this just a really great brush for accurately putting liquid or gel cream liner on your lids. You can create a nice flick with that angle. It makes it very easy to draw lines. You just place the angle where you want it. So of the really essential brushes, if you ask me what are the most important brushes that you have, I would say you definitely need a blending brush for concealer. I would recommend something like a 224 for concealer. I would really recommend this e.l.f. powder brush. I think it costs about $2 or $3 from e.l.f.'s website, or from the Australian Crush Cosmetics, sorry. I would recommend a nice blush brush of some kind, an angled or like the other one I showed. and then those 3 eye brushes. The one for packing on colour, the one for blending in the crease, and then a nice accurate pencil brush. Oh, as well as the spoolie, which you can pick up disposables of. So I hope that helps, guys. Please don't be afraid to post any questions or comments. I love to hear from you. And we'll see you next time. Have a beautiful day. Bye.